Hello everybody, I'm Courtney Harris. This is my project reflection for assignment 2. I was part of the collaborative learning group where we discussed how to use technology in collaborative learning settings. So to get us started, I'm going to first talk about some new learning and some things that have surprised me throughout the process. The first thing I learned was the importance of collaborative learning. While I've known that it is important to include it into your classroom, I never understood the why. So as I did my research, I was able to discover that it helps develop those 21st century skills that students need to be successful, such as the communication and collaboration of working with others. This one popped up as well, which is helping students adjust to the classroom after the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as global collaboration. To me, I found this really important because it was giving students the opportunity to meet with other people and experience things they might not experience in their own classroom without that technology and global collaboration of working with others. Another thing that I learned from our project was giving students a voice and choice. This was drilled into me in college, but as I got kind of out into the actual classroom, I was a little confused on how exactly to do that. So I found some ways to incorporate voice and choice, and one of them is choice boards for students. And assigning roles, or allowing themselves to assign roles within their collaborative learning groups, and then also allowing them to pick the technology tools that the students will use for collaboration. Such they could use Google Docs, Google Slides. I know Canva now has the option of letting students collaborate together as well. So giving students voice and choice on how they want to present the information and like who is presenting it and how they are going to be working together as a team. So kind of just giving them the basic outlines, but letting them decide how specifically they would like to do it. Some challenges from the project was working with those, mostly working kind of with my group, but I really think most of that was because we are virtual and we weren't able to connect face to face, and it was kind of hard to work with everybody's schedules. But one challenge I found was communication. We use Google Slides, and I feel like Google Slides allows us to communicate a lot. The only issue I kind of discovered was that the comments or like the discussion within Google Slides will clear out once you kind of leave the session, and they aren't saved for the next session you come in. So if like they might have been talking while I was logged off, I wouldn't have been able to read the messages. Another one was teamwork. Again, I really do think it was just not being able to connect with each other face to face, but I was personally felt a little disconnected from the group, just like trying to figure out what exactly everybody was doing. But then as soon as someone kind of took charge and was like, this is how I'm presenting my information, we all worked and did that exact same layout, and it ended up working out in the end, and I was actually really happy with how our product or our presentation ended up. The last challenge I found was finding relevant and current information or research. As I was going through kind of some of the databases from our library, I found it hard to specifically be looking at what I wanted. It wanted to talk a lot about higher education or high school or elementary school, so it was really hard to kind of focus in on that relevant information for middle school. And it was hard to find ones that weren't super specific because I was trying to kind of go more broad as well, that touched a lot of different subjects rather than just like math or science or anything like that. Mostly because I don't teach those. I teach family and consumer sciences. So I wanted to kind of be more open about that. And so finding things like that was kind of a challenge for me as well. The IST standards that I think I hit on in this project was staying current with the research that supports improved student learning outcomes and including findings from the learning sciences. I feel like you really did this one with the research portion of our assignment. I was able to find things that were current, especially helping after the pandemic, and how to support our students when they come back into the classroom and help support their learning as well. And then the second one is educators dedicated time to collaborate both with colleagues and students to improve practice, discover and share resources and ideas, and solve problems. So as a group, we really collaborated with each other about how to kind of work and share our information, but then even working with or reading through the other groups' presentations, we also saw that we are sharing our resources and ideas and kind of problem solving a little bit by like maybe someone has an issue and like the flipped classroom is really going to help them out. So reading through that would also, I think, hits that as well. And then the learning from the other groups, one of the biggest ones that I learned was using a variety of technology to keep students motivated. I found this very interesting because it's kind of a mix between keeping things consistent as well as kind of throwing in a little bit of variety to help students stay engaged and motivated in the classroom. Another one I found was incorporating social media into the classroom. I've always been hesitant to include it. However, as I went through kind of this class, my definition of social media has changed and I am using it a little bit already. And then the last thing is the benefits of a flipped classroom at the elementary level and above. Since I do teach middle school, I wanted to kind of include that and above because I do feel, as I was reading through it, I did feel a lot of it could apply to many different levels as well. I have tried to do a flipped classroom kind of in the past during virtual learning, which was really difficult and didn't end up working. So seeing kind of some of the benefits and how to do it is going to be very helpful if I ever try again.